What if I told you Texas is hiding a town with crystal clear water so blue it looks Caribbean? A ghost town where mysterious lights still baffle scientists, and an 1880s time capsule most Texans have never set foot in. Everyone talks about Austin, Houston, and San Antonio, but the real magic is hiding in plain sight. Today we're counting down 10 insanely underrated Texas towns, so hit subscribe now, because you don't want to miss where this list ends up. Number 10, Cuero. Starting our list at number 10 is Cuero, a tiny South Texas town most people drive straight past on the way to somewhere bigger. But slow down here, because Cuero is a genuine time capsule hiding in plain sight. The centerpiece is the DeWitt County Courthouse, a stunning architectural gem sitting in a classic small-town square, surrounded by cafes and local shops. Here's the detail almost nobody knows. The courthouse's iconic clock tower stopped dead at 2:47 one night back in 1894, after a lightning strike froze it in time, and it's still slightly off-kilter to this day. That's not a gimmick, that's a genuine, untouched piece of Texas history frozen mid-storm. Just down the road, the Cuero Heritage Museum houses arrowheads, ranch gear, and artifacts that tell the story of the region long before modern Texas existed. It's the kind of small, unpolished museum that big city tourists skip entirely, which is exactly what makes it worth the stop. Here's your practical tip. Plan your visit around a weekday morning when the town square is quiet enough to actually take in the courthouse architecture without traffic or crowds. Bring a camera with a wide lens. The symmetry of these old Texas county courthouses is genuinely photogenic, and you won't find angles like this in guidebooks. Picture standing in the town square, the courthouse clock frozen at the exact minute lightning struck over a century ago, a light breeze moving through century-old oak trees, and not another tourist in sight. That's Cuero, proof that some of Texas's best stories are hiding in its smallest courthouses. Number 9, Terlingua. At number 9, we're heading deep into West Texas for one of the strangest, most atmospheric stops on this entire list. Terlingua, a genuine ghost town sitting on the edge of Big Bend National Park. Terlingua isn't polished, and that's the entire point. Wander through the eerie Terlingua Cemetery, where hand-carved wooden crosses and faded headstones tell the story of a mining town that boomed and collapsed within a few short decades. Then head to the Starlight Theater Restaurant and Saloon, a genuinely surreal spot for live music and a cold drink, sitting practically in the middle of the desert. The scientific mystery that draws people from around the world, though, sits about 2 hours away in nearby Marfa. But Terlingua itself has its own reputation for jaw-dropping stargazing, thanks to some of the darkest night skies in the continental United States. With almost zero light pollution, the Milky Way here isn't a faint smudge. It's a vivid band stretching across the entire sky. Practical advice: time your visit around a new moon for the darkest possible skies, and bring layers. Desert temperatures swing dramatically between scorching afternoons and genuinely cold nights, even in summer. Also, gas up before you arrive. Services are sparse for long stretches out here. Picture sitting outside the Starlight Theater as the sun drops behind distant mountains, the sky exploding into orange and purple, and then, an hour later, more stars than you've ever seen in your life. Terlingua isn't just underrated, it's one of the last genuinely wild corners of Texas. Number 8, Salado. Number 8 brings us to Salado. And if you're enjoying this countdown, now's a perfect time to subscribe, because the hidden gems only get better from here. Salado is a small central Texas town that's quietly built itself into an artsy little escape most road trippers completely bypass on I-35. Here's what sets it apart. Within just a few blocks, you'll find art galleries, boutique wineries, craft breweries, and even a sculpture garden. A genuinely unusual concentration of culture for a town this size. What makes Salado worth the detour isn't just the shops, it's the pace. This is a town built for slow wandering, not checking boxes. You can sip a local craft beer, browse a gallery, then walk 50 feet and be tasting boutique wine, all without ever needing a car. Here's a practical tip most visitors miss. Visit on a Saturday afternoon, when local artists are often present in their own galleries and happy to talk about their work. A completely different experience than browsing anonymously. Also, Check for seasonal art walks, which often include live music and extended gallery hours you won't find listed on a typical travel site. Picture spending an entire afternoon without ever getting back in your car. Gallery to winery to brewery, all on foot, autumn leaves drifting past storefronts, and a total absence of the crowds you'd fight through in Fredericksburg or Austin. That's Salado's real appeal. Big city culture, zero big city chaos. Number 7. Gruene. At number 7 is Gruene, pronounced green. And yes, that trips up almost every first-time visitor. This tiny hill country town punches enormously above its weight. Anchored by Gruene Hall, the oldest continuously operating dance hall in Texas. Step inside and you're stepping into genuine living history. Creaky wood floors, string lights, and a stage that's hosted country legends for well over a century. Still hosting live music multiple nights a week. It's not a recreation or a museum piece. It's a fully functioning dance hall, exactly the way it's operated since it opened. Gruene's second superpower is the Guadalupe River, which cuts directly through town and turns it into one of Texas's best river tubing destinations. Spend your morning floating lazily down cool river water, then walk straight into town for dinner without ever needing to drive. For food, the Gristmill River Restaurant and Bar offers genuinely scenic riverside dining, while the compact downtown area packs in a working winery and an old-school general store, enough to fill a full day without ever leaving a few walkable blocks. Practical tip: book your tubing rental early in the day during summer weekends, since outfitters sell out fast, and pair it with a live music night at Gruene Hall for the complete experience. Picture floating down the Guadalupe under shady cypress trees, then later that evening, two-stepping on a 100-year-old dance floor with the same wooden boards musicians have played on for generations. That's Gruene. Small town, massive personality. Number 6. Balmorhea. Number 6. Takes us back to West Texas for one of the most genuinely jaw-dropping natural wonders most Texans have never seen. Balmorhea, home to the largest spring-fed swimming pool on Earth. Picture driving through dry, open desert for miles, and suddenly the road opens onto a massive, impossibly clear pool, fed directly by natural springs. The water stays a consistent, refreshing temperature year-round, crystal clear enough that you can watch small fish swimming around you like a natural aquarium. This isn't a man-made attraction dressed up to look natural. It's a genuine geological phenomenon, and that authenticity is exactly why it deserves far more attention than it gets. Snorkelers, families, and swimmers all end up asking the exact same question. How did I not know this existed? Because it's a real natural spring rather than a chlorinated pool, the water quality and clarity genuinely rival tropical destinations, without leaving Texas or paying resort prices. Practical tip: visit on a weekday morning if possible, since Balmorhea draws increasingly large weekend crowds as word spreads. Bring reef-safe sunscreen and snorkel gear if you own it. The clarity here genuinely rewards a closer look beneath the surface, revealing small fish and plant life most swimmers never notice. Picture floating on your back in impossibly clear, cool water, desert mountains framing the horizon in every direction, and the strange, wonderful realization that you're still, somehow, in Texas. Balmorhea isn't just underrated, it's one of the state's genuine natural miracles. Number 5. Jefferson. Tate. We've hit number 5, and if this list has surprised you so far, go ahead and hit subscribe, because the final 4 towns are where this countdown gets genuinely spectacular. Jefferson sits in deep East Texas, and stepping into its historic downtown feels like stepping directly into 1880. Horse-drawn carriage rides clatter past colorful, perfectly preserved storefronts, antique shops spill onto sidewalks, and historic bed and breakfasts line quiet, tree-shaded streets. What makes Jefferson genuinely unique is its bayou-like scenery, a landscape that feels almost transplanted from Louisiana, thanks to its location near Caddo Lake. That combination of Victorian architecture and swampy, moss-draped waterways creates an atmosphere unlike anywhere else in Texas. Jefferson has also built a real reputation around ghost tours, leaning into its well-documented history of hauntings tied to its riverboat-era past. Whether or not you believe in ghosts, the historic backdrop alone makes these tours genuinely atmospheric after sundown. Practical tip. Book a bed and breakfast directly on or near the historic main street, rather than a chain hotel outside town, since Jefferson's charm is almost entirely a walking experience. Carriage rides, antique shopping, and evening ghost tours are all more magical when you're staying inside the historic district itself. Picture walking beneath gas lamp-style streetlights as a horse-drawn carriage clip-clops past century-old storefronts, the air thick and humid off nearby Caddo Lake. Jefferson isn't chasing a hidden gem reputation, it's simply been quietly, beautifully frozen in time. Number 4. Wimberley. Wimberley. At number 4 is Wimberley, a hill country town built around some of the most stunning natural swimming holes in the entire state. Water so clear and blue, it genuinely makes you forget you're in Texas at all. The centerpiece here is Jacob's Well, a natural artesian spring so clear you can see straight down into its depths, and a genuinely popular spot for experienced divers exploring one of the longest underwater cave systems in Texas. Even if you're not diving, simply swimming at the surface offers water clarity most travelers associate with tropical destinations, not Central Texas. Beyond the swimming holes, Wimberley has cultivated a genuinely relaxed, artsy small-town atmosphere, with local shops and a walkable downtown that rewards slow exploration rather than a rushed checklist visit. Here's the practical advice. Jacob's Well requires reservations, especially on weekends, and access is limited to protect the spring. Book well in advance rather than showing up and hoping for a spot. If you're not diving, arrive early morning for the clearest, coolest water and the smallest crowds. Picture floating on your back over water so clear you can watch the sunlight refract straight down into a cave system below you, limestone cliffs rising on either side, completely silent except for birdsong. Wimberley proves that Texas's most jaw-dropping natural beauty often isn't hiding in a national park. It's hiding in a town most people have simply never bothered to look up. Number 3. Fredericksburg. Number 3 takes us to the area surrounding Fredericksburg, home to one of Texas's most underrated natural landmarks, Enchanted Rock, a massive pink granite dome rising dramatically out of the hill country landscape. Here's what most visitors don't realize. Enchanted Rock isn't just a hike, it's a genuine wildlife destination, home to rare and local bird species that draw dedicated birdwatchers from across the state. Climbing to the summit rewards you with a sweeping 360-degree view of hill country that rivals any overlook in Texas, without the crowds of more famous state parks. Fredericksburg itself, just a short drive away, adds genuine German Texian heritage into the mix. Historic architecture, local wineries, and a walkable main street that pairs perfectly with a day spent outdoors. The scientific draw here is real too. Enchanted Rock's granite dome creates unique micro-ecosystems in small depression pools on its surface, supporting plant and animal life found almost nowhere else nearby. A genuinely fascinating detail most hikers walk right past without noticing. Practical tip: arrive at sunrise, both to beat the Texas heat on the exposed granite summit and to catch the rock's surface glowing pink and orange in early light, a completely different experience than a midday visit. Picture standing at the summit as the sun rises, pink granite glowing beneath your feet, hill country stretching in every direction, and not another soul in sight. Enchanted Rock proves you don't need Big Bend to find genuine Texas wilderness. West Texas for Alpine, a genuinely underrated gateway town that most visitors treat as a gas stop on the way to somewhere else. A mistake, because Alpine deserves a stop of its own. Sitting at higher elevation than most of Texas, Alpine offers noticeably cooler temperatures and some of the clearest air in the state, making it a genuine hub for stargazing and outdoor exploration. It's also home to a surprisingly vibrant art scene, with colorful building murals scattered throughout downtown and a walkable historic district that feels worlds away from typical West Texas towns. Alpine also serves as the perfect base camp for exploring Big Bend National Park and nearby Big Bend Ranch State Park, without the tourist saturation of towns closer to the park entrances themselves. Roadrunners genuinely dart across trails here, and with patience and a little luck, visitors occasionally spot mountain lions from a safe distance, a reminder that this is still genuinely wild country, not a manicured tourist stop. Practical tip: use Alpine as your overnight base rather than driving straight through. giving yourself an evening to explore downtown murals and grab dinner locally before heading into Big Bend the next morning rested and acclimated to the elevation. Picture walking Alpine's quiet downtown streets at dusk, painted murals catching the last orange light, mountains framing the horizon, and the first stars already beginning to appear overhead. Alpine isn't just a pit stop, it's genuinely one of West Texas's best-kept secrets. Number 1. Marfa. And here we are, number 1, the single most underrated town on this entire list. Marfa, a tiny West Texas town wrapped in genuine mystery and unexpected artistic prestige. Let's start with the mystery. For over a century, visitors have reported the Marfa Lights, unexplained glowing orbs that appear on the horizon after dark, drawing scientists, skeptics, and curious travelers alike. Despite decades of study, no explanation has been universally accepted, which is exactly what makes standing at the official viewing area after sunset so genuinely eerie and unforgettable. But Marfa's second reputation is just as remarkable. This remote desert town has become a legitimate international art destination, largely thanks to minimalist artist Donald Judd, who transformed the area into a hub for large-scale contemporary installations that feel completely out of place, in the best way, against the surrounding desert landscape. That combination, unexplained phenomena, and world-class art, both sitting in a town of under 2,000 residents, is genuinely unmatched anywhere else in Texas. Practical tip: plan your Marfa Lights viewing for a clear, moonless night, and arrive well before sunset to claim a good spot at the official viewing platform along Highway 90. Pair your evening with a full day exploring Marfa's galleries and installations while the desert light is at its best for photography. Picture standing in near total silence, the desert cooling rapidly after sunset, when a soft, unexplained light flickers on the horizon and slowly fades. That's Marfa, equal parts mystery and masterpiece, and easily the most underrated town in all of Texas.